This is a half-man, half-bull monster. The upper half of the body is human. The bottom half is a cow. Anyone else would be scared, but the girl was not afraid at all, because the girl and the monster are the same kind. When Angela was first born, she was taken into the laboratory to study. Victor, the scientist, saw her pity from the laboratory, secretly took her away. In order not to be discovered by the experimenters, Victor hid her in the basement of his cabin in the woods. He raised her like a daughter. She was never allowed to leave the basement. The reason Angela is more human, it's because she's constantly in a special liquid. The special liquid changes her metabolism. Living in the basement, Victor still keeps Angela immersed in the liquid. Angela was already used to it. More than 10 years have passed. Except for the cow's tail, she was no more than a human. In order for Angela to live a normal life as a human, Victor had to cut off her cow's tail. Unfortunately, not long afterwards, Victor died unexpectedly. The body was found in the hut. The cleaning company sent a crew to clean it up. The house was left with all kinds of dirty garbage and dead bodies. The smell of decay made Arthur, a professional cleaner, feel sick. After cleaning up the remaining stones, 2 people had to come out for air. After a short break, the 2 men continued to clean the room. Inadvertently found the entrance to the basement. They were curious about what was in the basement. There is a locked iron door down there. Arthur pried open the iron door with the flashlight light to explore forward. Inside, there were all kinds of canned food and soaked in glass bottles of animal carcasses. This makes Arthur shudder. The 2 men continued to move forward. They found a room that looked like a laboratory. In the corner was a bathtub filled with white liquid. Various research reports were posted on the wall. There was also a tape recorder on the workbench. This caught Arthur's attention. Kevin, his companion, found the room very strange. He was told not to touch anything. Kevin had to call his superiors for instructions. No sooner had Kevin left than Arthur pressed the recorder switch. A man's voice came from inside. A scream came out of nowhere. Arthur was scared to death. The recording continues to play on the tape recorder. The bathtub next to him vibrated. Arthur was stunned by the scene before him. He never thought that cleaning could be such a beautiful experience. Angela was wary of seeing outsiders for the first time. She grabbed Arthur's hand and refused to let go. Kevin hurriedly introduced himself. He said they didn't mean any harm. Angela then let go of Arthur. They didn't know Angela was a demoness. The girl got dressed and ate out-of-date canned food. Apparently she had been asleep in the bathtub for a long time. Kevin thought the expired food was bad, so he ran back to the car to get fresh food for Angela. While he was calling the hospital, a monster flashed in the distance. Before Kevin knew it, the banshee was watching her. Arthur rummages around the room and finds some more tapes. He starts tinkering with the tape recorder. It turns out that the tapes record the experiences of his adoptive father and her. Angela heard her father's voice. She rushed to the tape recorder. She accidentally opened the tapes. She was so scared that she backed up. Angela rushed to hide under the bed. Arthur also lay down on the floor to comfort her. Angela finally dropped her guard. She put her right hand on Arthur's face. A moment Arthur saw all Angela's past experience. Her adoptive father finally took Angela's tail. He kept it in a safe. He learns her true identity. Arthur trembled with fear. Arthur rushed to open the safe. There was a cow's tail inside. The 2 men realized that Angela was not human. They didn't know what to do. They had to wait for help from their superiors. Suddenly, Kevin's chest felt tight. It seemed like he was not feeling well. Angela seemed to see the problem. She looked closely at his lungs. Then she reached out and placed her left hand on the lung, and her right hand touched Kevin's cheek. A warm current passed through him. Kevin's lung cancer was instantly cured. However, Kevin did not know it yet. He thought it was the demoness who wanted his beauty. Just then, the air vent flashed a few figures. Angela suddenly became nervous, immediately closed the door of the room, locked the door tightly with a chain. Arthur and the 2 were still confused. The people outside started banging on the door. Obviously, this is not the company's rescue team. 3 people rushed into the iron door room. 2 people used their bodies to block the iron door. At the critical moment, the iron door is still reliable. The other side saw that they could not break in. They released poison gas from the keyhole. The 2 men were stunned one after another. When Arthur and Kevin came to their senses, they were tied up in the woods. But Angela was nowhere to be found. It turns out they were lab workers. The scientist asked them where the girl was. They had just been knocked unconscious, and they don't know where Angela is. Meanwhile, The scientists' men stayed in the basement, searching for Angela's whereabouts. They used their sonic detectors to make sure that Angela was still here. But they searched every corner, but they never found Angela. The search team relied on the sonic device to find the cow's tail in the safe. While the crowd watched curiously, Angela quietly climbed out of the bathtub. It turns out that the white liquid inside the bathtub can isolate the sound waves. She took care of the teen when they weren't looking. Suddenly there is an explosion in the basement. The scientist was furious. He knew he couldn't get anything out. He was ready to kill them. Then a demoness flashed through the forest. The scientist thought it was Angela. He pointed his gun at Arthur as a threat. The next moment a group of female demons swarmed on him. After taking out the scientist, they did not hurt Arthur and Kevin. Through the sack, they faintly saw Angela. Eventually, Angela followed the demonesses back to the jungle. Arthur and the two returned and immediately called the police. They said a girl was missing. The police needed to help find her. But the girl might be a demoness. How can the police believe? The matter also ended up. Later, Kevin went to the hospital to review his condition, but learned that he had recovered from lung cancer. The demoness in this film. But she is the image of a woman who knows how to repay her kindness. The man gives her fresh food. In return, the demoness cures her lung cancer. The researchers, on the other hand, are morally bankrupt. In order to satisfy their desire for knowledge, not only do they destroy the laws of nature and kill their own kind. In the end, those researchers were punished by nature as they should be. This is the end of today's movie. If you like it, please like it and pay attention to it. We will see you next time.